Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Erlengrat. So it's really up to each individual, so I really would have no idea what I would do. Probably not grow very many potatoes, to be honest, because it's not an exciting job. There are other things I would prefer to do with my 4 or 5 acres, if I ever had 4 or 5 acres. I don't really know, though. It's kind of... It's one of those things that you don't really know what you'd want to do until you were in that situation. It's definitely one of those things that you think you know what you'd want to do, but when you actually get started on these tasks, it's a whole lot different to what you imagined it would be. And so I might actually find that I really enjoyed the growing of the potatoes. So it's got nothing to do with me being able to do it for X amount of profit per hour for X amount of time, or save X amount of money because I can do all of this for free. I'm still spending time doing it, so it's whether or not it would be something that I would enjoy doing. And I might find that it would be something that I really, really enjoyed, and therefore it's worth my time. It's worth that time and effort to go and do if you're finding it personally rewarding, because not everything is about that money. Like I said, it's also about finding personal enjoyment, and it just not necessarily, well, it's purpose. You know, life isn't just about making money. Life isn't just about trying to spin a profit. It's also about finding something that you love to do, finding things that make you happy, finding things that you can do that brings you a feeling of satisfaction, a feeling of yes, I've done this, this is something I've created, or I've done, or I've grown, or whatever it might be. Everybody has all their different hobbies. A hobby is not a waste of time. So many people will look at different people's hobbies and say, what a waste of time. Quite often, people who say things like, what a waste of time, will be able to tell you what happened recently on the latest soap that they might be watching, whatever soap opera that might be. One person's waste of time is another person's valuable time spent. I know this because I play computer games, and the number of people that tell me, oh, what a waste of time, and then they do things like watch TV. They spend a lot of time watching films. They can tell you all sorts of stuff about thousands of films. What a waste of time. I know people who've said that reading books is a waste of time, and then other people who literally would do nothing other than read books until the day they died, if that's what they felt that they could do, and someone else was paying for all of their bills and everything. They had no interest in doing anything other than reading book after book, devouring that knowledge, and seeing all of these stories in the books. And it's the same with knitting, doing needlework, embroidery, anything like that. You're creating... You know, I have people argue both sides of the coin with that. Oh, you're doing embroidery. What a waste of time. What does that benefit anybody? And it's a nice picture to look at. Once you've done 2 or 3, a lot of people would say, well, there's no point in doing any more, because where are you going to put them? What are you going to do with them? It's not about creating... It's not about making something to display on a wall. It's the act of creating it itself. I know people who do wood turning, and they will spend hours and hours and hours making bowls and small things like that. I know someone who does so much wood turning that he's given he's given like little things away to loads of people, and just about everybody he knows has got something somewhere that he's made. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants any more of it, and he knows this. He's given away a whole load of stuff, and if he's made something really special, then yeah, that's worth keeping. But he'll decide, oh, he wants to practice making bowls or plates or something simple like that. And he'll make 100 of them. And he'll make loads of them. Nobody wants 100 wooden plates. He can't do anything with them unless he goes and he gets a market stall and he sets it out and he sells it. And he's well off enough that he doesn't need to worry about doing anything like that. He doesn't want to stand in a market stall selling stuff. He's got no interest in that whatsoever. He would rather just not have the money. So do you know what he does after he's gone and made all of these plates? He puts them all in a bag and he uses them for firewood. It's not the act of making it for someone else to say, oh, that's really amazing, that he's doing it for. He's not doing it to keep the item that he's made either. He's doing it purely for the act of creating those items on his wood lathe. He's not interested in any of the rest of it. He knows he's made it, and as far as he's concerned, that's the only thing that matters. He doesn't care about anything else on it, just that he has gone and made those items. And once he's done that, if he can't think of anybody immediately that might want the item he's made, he chucks it in the fire. And he's got no interest in keeping it. There's no point in him stacking it up. And so a lot of the firewood that he burns through the winter, and he has a little workshop, and he has a little wood burner in the workshop, and so a lot of the stuff that's the heat that is keeping him warm while he's using his wood turning lathe is the projects that he's just turned out on his lathe. And some of them are really, like, really good qualities. He's turning, you know, if he develops the skills to make a few plates. If he decides, you know what, today I want to make a set of 6 dinner plates, all look exactly the same, and he will sit there or stand there, and he will make himself a set of 6 dinner plates that all look exactly the same, and it does look rather amazing and wonderful. And then he chucks them in the fire because nobody wants them. Like, he could probably go to all the trouble of finding someone who would be able to market them for him and sell them, and he would be able to make some decent money out of it. He doesn't need decent money. He's retired. He has enough money to live comfortably for the rest of his days. It makes no difference to him, and, you know, he will give stuff away. He gives bags of stuff away to people who want it, but, you know, that still requires going out and finding people who want it. So usually it goes into his fire. And I think that's quite remarkable. He's so happy just to be creating it. Once he's created it, he's gotten everything out of it that he wants. He doesn't need to have anything more. And there are a lot of people who would say, well, he's just wasting his time then, isn't he? Is he? He's spending his life doing something that makes him really happy. And what else does he need? That's it. He's just spending his time. So, yeah, I did kind of ramble off there for a little bit. It's a bit like growing the potatoes. You're not going to make a fortune, and you're not going to save a fortune either. If you want to grow your own acre of potatoes and you don't have a whole load of mechanical aids to do it, it's going to take you a lot of time. It's going to take you a lot of work. And if you count up the hours that you put into it, and then you sort of compare that to the price of the potatoes, you'd be lucky to be earning about £1 an hour, or $1 an hour, depending on wherever you might be. It's really not worth it. It really isn't, unless it's something that you would be passionate about, unless it's something that you enjoy, in which case it's not a waste of time at all. It's something that is fulfilling and rewarding, and that's pretty much all that would really matter in the issue. If it's fulfilling and rewarding and you really have a love for it, then yes, it's absolutely the thing to be doing, because why wouldn't you? Like, you are spending your time doing something that makes you happy. So it doesn't matter what it is. And I would urge every single one of you. I know that there are some of you that aren't able to do things that sort of just make you feel, yes, this is what I really love to do. Like, there's got to be something that you enjoy doing. There's got to be something that you really love to do. And you may not be able to have the opportunity to do it as often as you'd like, but try to just at least do some of it. Even if it's just once a week for an hour, it makes such a difference. Trust me on this, I know. It really does make a big difference if you can just do something small as that once an hour in a week. Once an hour? Not once an hour. For an hour a week. If you can do a little bit to it every day, even better. Right, these things can be very, very rewarding for you. Okay, so I've got all the potatoes in there. We have 98,603. The price is still, and we're going to leave those potatoes there. The price is actually still climbing. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to start fast forwarding time just a few hours. I'm not going to go ridiculous with this. With 208 right there and 209. It is going quite slowly now. It's going to reach its max pretty soon, I would think. Especially considering the way that these prices are changing. It's not going to go much more than this. So we're on, I'm going to go until 2 o'clock. I won't go any further than that, because we're in the middle of planting, and I want to be able to have enough time to finish doing the planting. So we go to just past 2 o'clock, like that. There we go. And we'll have a look in here. 213. It says it's still rising, but I don't honestly think it's going to get very much more than that. So we need to back up the line here until we've got the middle carriage underneath that spout back there. Which, this won't take a lot. I think that middle one, what am I doing? I want to be going forward. I was pushing the wrong button. It started speeding up. I'll be able to slow down. I think that middle one takes 90,000. We'll find out in a minute. We'll start tipping it in. Right, stop right there. And then I want to go soybeans, corn, potatoes, 98,000. Oh, it takes 120,000. We'll be able to put all of the potatoes in here. So we'll just dump these in here a second. There's 70,000. We've got some big old heaps of tatey-pos in here now. Look at all that. There we go. Right, let's get rushing off towards Felsbrunn. 98,000 of brown gold right there. So that, in theory, should get us, if we're on 213 euros per 1,000 litres, approximately 20,000 euros this is going to get us, which means that our overall price or overall cash is going to go up to about 60 to 62,000 euros. If we're going to be able to buy a decent potato harvester that's going to be different to the one that we've got right now, we need 120,000. We've got a load of silage still at the BGA, and we can sell the BGA itself for 118,000, so we'll have no problem at all doing that. Yes. 21,000. That's fantastic. 21,000 euros from that little tiny field that we had. That's actually really good. So potatoes do seem to be worth the time and the effort, at least on here. Unlike in real life, if you're doing it purely for profit, here it seems to be worthwhile. In real life, that's a little bit more debatable. I mean, I suppose if you could do more than an acre at a time and you had a bit of mechanical aid, like we've had, then it would definitely make life a little bit easier. Now, what I could do is I could go and buy a bigger potato planter right now, and that would already make a difference to what I'm doing. At the moment, I'm thinking I get the potato planter here, and I'll bring that one down. I'll reload it again and then get it going in the field, and then we'll go with that tractor and the 2 trailers over to the BGA. Although I'm actually thinking, no, we won't. We'll go and get some more seed first. I need to get some more seed. That's what I'm going to have to get first. And I'll get the seed out of this trailer using the other seed drill. It's just going to be easier that way. So that's what we'll do to start with. We're going to need to go and get some more seed after we've done this. And we bring this one in over here. Yeah, see, this one is still sensitive, but he's nowhere near as sensitive as the other one. So we can at least unload this trailer like this, and that means that we can keep using the small seed drill to go and do it. So we'll just lower that down there like that and tip that out. Then I'm not going to be selling this seed drill anytime soon, although now that we're kind of we're committing to focusing on root crops rather than anything else. At the moment, we're committing to focusing on root crops. Now, we may decide to change our mind later on, and we'll start doing other things, but right now it's going to be root crops. Now, I am still quite liking the idea of... Let's put that one back in like that. I'm still quite liking the idea of getting pigs in FS22. And we convert over to FS22 and start the series in there, or sort of carry on the series in there. I'm quite liking the idea of getting pigs. So we grow the root crops, obviously, for the pigs, but the rest of the food we have to bring in from outside. And we can do that in one of two ways. We can either just go and buy the balanced pig feed, which will actually give us the root crop aspect of it as well. So, yeah, I'm also wondering if there would be another way of doing that. Like, we could try and do some contracts and grow a little bit like that. We could occasionally grow some other crops, but we have to lease a combine in order to be able to get the crops. That could be an interesting way of doing it, actually. If we have to go and lease the combine, I'll pick up that little bit of seed that's there in a minute. And where are we? We want to go in there, don't we? So we want to go to big bags. Now, we've got pigs, and that gives a perfectly balanced food for all of them. We've got oats in there, which don't go into feeding pigs at all. Wheat there, now that does go in for feeding pigs. So we can buy wheat at 1,500 euros per 1,000 litres, or we can buy the overall balanced diet for the pigs at 1,000 euros per 1,000 litres. Actually works out better. What we can't do is we can't buy corn, which is a bit of a shame. I'd like to be able to buy the individual ones, and we could make up our own feed. There isn't anything else. There isn't any other option for it. You can go and buy seeds, but that just comes out as seeds, so it's not really something that we could go and do. Yeah, there isn't anything else. We've got the Agraz pallets there. We haven't actually got anything in there. I don't know what that even is. So, yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to go and do that unless we buy the balanced diet for the pigs. So we might have to think of something else if we were to go down the route of pigs. We could instead go down the route of looking after sheep or something like that. That could also prove to be interesting. I don't really know at the moment. There are a number of options that we could look at, and we can still sort of go with the whole idea of being a root crop baron and build our empire based on root crops and root crop harvesting, which I think is an interesting challenge. Although I do think that eventually we will get a little bit fed up with just doing that, and so we will want some variety, in which case, well, yeah, we could go with sheep or we could go with cows. The problem with cows is that we need to go and get straw in for them as well. I don't like the idea of having cows without any bedding. We can buy the bedding in. We can do that. We can buy in bedding. I mean, we could even buy in all of the feed for the cattle. It is possible to do that because you can buy bales now in the base game, and so I don't imagine that's going to change in any way, shape, or form. Ooh, steady. So if we're buying in the feed for them, and we're buying in all the bales they need, how much are we going to need? Let's just put this in here. So we've got 6,000 litres of seed in there now. That's going to keep us going for a bit. Bales in here. We can buy the bedding at 650. We can buy the hay at 650. And we can buy silage at 2,200 a bale. So silage is a little bit more expensive than either the hay or the straw. We would need both, though. We would definitely need to get both lots. So we can go up to 8 in a stack. So we could buy 8 of those, 17,600 euros, and then we get to feed our cattle with them. Will we make enough back on the milk to do that? That would be an interesting thing to look at. So we're growing root crops in the fields, And we own cattle, but we buy in all feed and bedding for our cattle. Now, that could be an interesting way of trying to run things. I don't really know at the moment. We're going to play this by ear. Obviously, we don't know everything that's going to be available, and whereas some of the other the other series is going to be done on the US-based map. That one's going to be a more unrealistic series. Well, this is not. I'm not specifically going for unrealistic. I'm just going for, you know, doing whatever I fancy on there, and I'm not going to be held back by constraints such as, does this feel like it's real to you? We're not going to worry about that. Now, can I just empty out the trailer straight away into... Well, first up, let's just do that. Right, it doesn't automatically tip. So if I lift it up like this, and then I do basically like we do with the seed drills, that doesn't work either. So the best method of this, it seems, is just parking it up. And then because we have such issues with that seed drill, we will have to keep doing the whole thing that we do with the other seed. We have such issues with the potato planter. We'll have to just do our thing that we've been doing with the seed drill. Pull it out. Do it like that. I mean, I'll go over here and I'll try again. But it's such a sensitive thing. Such a sensitive soul. It just doesn't seem to want to do this. You look. We bring this over here. Now, I'm just inching forward a little bit by a little bit. And I've now managed to do it, but you really do have to go in such tiny increments that it doesn't really seem like it's doing anything at all. I'm going to start planting it here. We only have to just lower this one down. We don't actually have to do anything to start it because it's a land-driven machine. So we'll run along at the edge of the field right here until I get to the bit up there where we want to start it going up and down the runs again. And then we'll let that one go. And then, where were we last time I was recording? Oh, we're taking the big tractor and the trailers over to the biogas plant, and we're going to tip all of the silage that's left over there into the machine over there, and wait for that to sell at midnight. And then once it's sold, see, I don't know if we're supposed to wait for it to sell before we can sell the land. So I'm going to make the assumption that we need to, and that way we've got our bases covered. Like, if we make the assumption that we need to wait until everything is sold, we can sell the biogas plant tomorrow, and that's not going to affect anything. We're still going to be able to go and buy the new potato harvester after we have sold all of that land. So let's bring you up over here. If we are going to continue with our plans of having a fully organic farm here, then regardless of whether we do decide to grow our own grass in order to feed cows, pigs also give manure, but sheep don't. So if we just go for sheep, we're not going to be able to get any fertilizer for our field. So we're going to want pigs or we're going to want cows. And so we're going to need to be able to feed them regardless of what we do, and we want to be able to get the manure out of them so that we can spread that on the fields. Now, we do have digestate that we can use from the biogas plant. That is an organic product, so we could go and use that. And in fact, we might be able to do that now. So we'll leave that one going right there. We're going to take this over to the biogas plant. Actually going to start driving. You know, it would help if I didn't drive along and then unhitch that bucket. What I meant to do was just switch over to the loader arm so that I could raise it ever so slightly off the ground. And then I know the road does actually go over that way, but I wanted to try out the lane that we built up here and test it with the bigger tractor and see if we've managed to make this thing about the right size. It's a little bit oversized, this lane. If you look at it, it is slightly too big, so we would probably want to change this ever so slightly if we make more of them in the future, just to bring it a little bit narrower than what we've got at the moment. Maybe something like this. Because what you could do is you could do the middle line first and then sort of work your way out on the outer runs, and that would actually sort of put everything in the right places. I think I could make that work. So, a little bit too wide on that lane, but overall it's pretty good. I'm quite pleased with that. We'll run all the way down here. And I need to go... It's this lane, isn't it? Is there a lane on the other side? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, there is a track on the other side of this field. Never mind. I just looked at the map. I thought, whoa, I can't see it there. I'm busy staring across in the distance, wondering if I can see if there's another track. You can see this track is just the right size. So what they will have done here is they've painted the line in down through the middle, and then they've gone along and they've done the lines on the outside on each side of it, and then they've gone outside of that and they've painted the grass over the top. Well, obviously their brushes and stuff are a little bit different size than the ones we use, but that's how we can create that. I did mine back to front, and I did the center sort of mark on it last, and that's why it's all of it slightly oversized. I misjudged that, but it's all right. We can come back and we can sort that out in no time at all. Well, I'm not gonna worry about sorting out the lane that we've got at the moment. We'll leave that one in place just as it is. And I want to come in here, so I want to be able to get that on. I don't have front links. I've got a loader here, and that is all I've got. So we can... Actually, if we bring the trailers in around this way... How can we do this? I mean, I can try and reverse these two trailers over down the side over there. So let's just try and put them straight back that way a bit, and then round that corner there, like that. There we go. Round that corner a bit more. Yeah, like that. That's what I want you to do. And then chase it back like that. Okay, they should be okay there. So then if I unhitch them, then I go... Oh. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.